Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. Sorry, we're a bit late. Just got off work at the moment, so just slightly run over. But yeah, we're back for the deadline stream. Looking ahead to Game Week 13. Obviously, I wasn't there in the team selection video as well, so nice to chat about FPL again. But yeah, how's your week gone so far, Jordan?
Yeah, so far so good. It's exciting to have some Friday night football for a change instead of the Saturday early fixture. So yeah, quite excited. Obviously, the first fixture being Brighton and Southampton. Will be interesting though in terms of captaincies who we go for, but we will discuss that through this hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up my team quickly because I have done. I don't know if you discussed my team at all in the team selection video.
Yeah, your -4 was discussed and the players you brought in.
Yeah, so as you guys probably know, Jordan may have mentioned in the team selection video, I have taken a -4 already. I'll just quickly share my bus team with you guys first. Just give me a second. Hopefully you guys can see that. There you go. Let's move along. Yeah, so again, it's a Friday deadline. So I think it's the first Friday deadline we've had so far this season, if I'm not mistaken. There's also another deadline on Wednesday, or is it Wednesday? Because obviously there's a quick turnaround midweek games this week in the Premier League. So yeah, very quick turnaround. I'm just gonna have a look. When is it? Yeah, sorry, Tuesday, another deadline because we've got Tuesday football, haven't we? So not a long turnaround at all. So we probably won't be able to do another video in the meantime. We'll probably have to do it on Sunday. So we'll see in terms of the schedule. But in goal, I've got Raya, as you guys know, who's got a decent fixture against West Ham. Back three, I'm playing Ait Nouri, Mykolenko, and Gabriel. I believe Greaves is back as well on the bench, so I'll come on to who I play. But yeah, Mykolenko is at the moment in the team. In the midfield four, I've got Mbeumo, Salah, Saka, and Palmer. And then up front, I now have Cunha, Strand Larsen, and Pedro. Now, I took this -4 on Saturday night, so it's been a couple, a weeks past since I did these moves. I was very frustrated after Man City's loss. Forgot who it was against. That was it, Spurs, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4-0 loss to Spurs.
4-0 loss, and sort of had enough of Haaland. Really, I think it's been a big error keeping him because if you had Haaland and Semenyo, for example, you're looking at 23 points in that last 4 or 5 game weeks. But if you had Salah captain with Cunha, you would have had about, I think 3 or 4 times the points. So it's not worked out keeping Haaland. And yeah, I'm glad to just get rid now and restructure the team because as you can see, I've took Haaland out, I've took Semenyo out, and I also took out Archer, who was sort of a dud forward in my team. So to replace those 3 players, I've bought in Cunha, who I initially wanted to go for over Strand Larsen, but because of Haaland, the budget reasons, I couldn't do it. I've also bought in Saka because it's allowed me to have a lot more money now. So Saka's come in after his goal in the last game week. I'm happy to own him as well. And then João Pedro, as you know, has done really well, especially since coming back from injury. He has a nice fixture against Southampton at home, so hopefully he will start that one. And yeah, those are the 3. And I think my team looks a lot better overall. And next week, going into game week 14, when Chelsea have Southampton away, I'm going to probably bring in Nico Jackson for that one. So just so you're aware, guys, unless no injuries happen, my next transfer will probably be Strand Larsen out for Nico Jackson next week. I do need to fix the defense. I'm not quite happy with Mykolenko and Lewis and Greaves. I can actually play Greaves. I don't know if he's back from injury. He's not flagged anymore. So depending on news, I could be tempted to play Greaves because I'm not sure Mykolenko will keep a clean sheet at Man United away. So I probably will play Greaves against Forest, but I'm not sure because Mikalenko has kept back-to-back clean sheets. But it is Man United. They've got the first win under their belt under Amorim in the Europa League. They got a draw as well against Ipswich. So yeah, we'll see. In terms of the bench, Lewis is there as well. Who's got Liverpool away. I'm not going to play Lewis. I'm not even sure if he'll start. Rogers has got Chelsea away, so he's on the bench, and Fabianski has Arsenal. So that's the minus. That's the -4, guys. I had 2 free transfers, and in terms of captaincy options, as you'll see, the captain's armband is on Salah at the moment. Now, Salah does have a fixture against Man City. He is at Anfield. There's a couple of other options potentially. I think Palmer against Aston Villa at home could be a really good option because Aston Villa have been struggling for form as of late. But the way Liverpool are playing, especially if you didn't watch Liverpool's outstanding performance on Wednesday night, was it against Real Madrid? Totally dominant. Could have had a lot more goals. Salah missed a penalty actually against Madrid, so Salah should have scored. He missed a pen, but the way Liverpool are playing right now and the way Man City are, especially conceding 3 to Tottenham, I'm going to stick it on Salah. He's a big game player, and I expect him to have a good game. So I've not looked at Palmer, but I know even Cunha has a good fixture. João Pedro, if you're tempted to have a punt on those sort of assets, but I'm locked on Salah for now, and I can't see myself changing the captaincy. Saka, again, another player people could look at as a captain, but not for me this week. I'm going to just go with Salah and see, ride it out and what happens.
So do you expect a similar performance to Spurs when obviously Man City played them against Liverpool at home to Anfield?
In terms of the Man City Liverpool game, I expect a tighter game. I think Man City won't be so gung ho. I don't think they'll be like end to end. I think they will come to defend and they will come to keep it tight at the back. But you never know. Liverpool are in form. Man City have, again, the Champions League game. Man City were 3-0 up, 75 minutes played, and the final came back 3-3. So Man City are struggling defensively. It's fair to say. But that's why I'm leaning towards Salah at the moment. I don't expect it to be that high scoring, but City have conceded a lot of goals so far this season. So yeah, I'm pretty much set on Salah. It's really interesting to see who you go with as well. Let's bring up your boss team.
Yeah.
Talk us through your 11 and obviously who you're on for captaincy as well.
Yeah, in terms of captaincy, it's a bit. Well, you can see why it's a bit of a headache. But starting off in goal, I've got Hermanson. He's got. Sorry, my screen went a bit fuzzy there. He's got Brentford away. Not expecting obviously a clean sheet from the goalkeeper, but I'll play him anyway. Back 3, Masrari, Van der Berg, and 8, Nuri. Midfield 4, Palmer, Mbeumo, Johnson, and Salah. And the front 3 are João Pedro, Nicholas Jackson, and Chris Wood. On the bench, you've got Vardy, Marston, Garnacho, Fires, and Keane. Now, you guys might have noticed, obviously, if you haven't seen the team selection that was yesterday, that my team has been altered a fair bit. I was playing a 3-5-2. It's now a 3-4-3. And I did take 2 free transfers early on this week, which were Haaland out for João Pedro, and Wheatley, my non-playing forward for Man United, was taken out for Nicholas Jackson. So João Pedro and Nicholas Jackson are the new players in my team, and Haaland and Wheatley are the ones that have exited my squad. So this is the Gameweek 13 team locked and ready. The only thing I'm not guaranteed on is the captaincy. As you can see, I could go for João Pedro, which is currently on. I could even go for Mbeumo, Salah, or even Chris Wood. They all have decent fixtures, and I think captain this week is very fun because a lot of us will be going different directions for captaincies. But yeah, cross mine because João Pedro does play tonight, which gives me more of a buzz to watch that game. And obviously, we'll see how he does in that fixture and get the captaincy out of the way. I think a lot of people prefer to keep it near the end, but I feel like at this moment in time, I'd rather just get it out of the way and see what João Pedro does against Southampton at home, because obviously Southampton has the worst record for conceding goals this season. So it makes sense why João Pedro could be a good candidate for captaincy for the Gameweek 13.
Yeah, there's quite a few options, as we mentioned. Even Saka could be an option against West Ham. Arsenal are looking like they're back on form a bit. Got a big win in Europe, 5-1 against Sporting. So there is, Saka, I think, is a good option. João Pedro is, and you're on him. He's doing well. Good option as well. Palmer, I think, is a good option at home to Villa. And then Burmo, even I know he hasn't been great recently in terms of goals, but he had a good start to the season, and he's got Leicester at home, so we know Brentford score goals, and I wouldn't be surprised if Burmo goes and gets a couple of goals. So
Yeah.
there are options there, and it could be a really interesting week where not like maybe a standout option for everyone, because Salah does have Man City. Some will say, oh, obviously it's a tougher fixture on paper, but with current form, that's why I'm leaning towards Salah. And I think Salah has like 65 goals and assists against the top 6 teams, which is more than double the next best person in the Premier League, which is De Bruyne, which was a 34, I think. Salah does have a good record in these games, and that's what I'm hoping for anyway as a Liverpool fan, and seeing if he can do the business. But yeah,
Absolutely.
in terms of transfers, obviously as well, we've both gone early. I mean, I want to chat to you about Haaland, because I didn't think you'd sell him. What made you finally get rid of? Because he's giving you a torrid time. You didn't start with him at the start of the season, and he absolutely killed it. Then you got him in, and he did nothing, and now you've got rid of him again. Which now I'm hoping he doesn't sort of come and start scoring against Liverpool starting on Sunday.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It seems like there's a curse looming over me having Haaland and then taking him out of the team, because it has ruined me both ways up to this moment in time. But fingers crossed, hopefully not. I don't see really Man City changing their style at the moment. It's been very poor consistently, and that's not a coincidence. But it was the last chance, I think, against Spurs to see whether Haaland could actually sort of salvage something from all the blanks he's had. And unfortunately not. I mean, he had 2 chances, good chances to score, but wasn't able to. So, yeah, after that game where Spurs won 4-0, that was the last lifeline for keeping Haaland in the team, because it seems like it's just not happening for Man City.
Yeah, let's take a few comments. Elika's in the chat. Ideal team, you have Huss. Only weakness being Mikalenko. Yeah, Mikalenko is a weakness. He's someone I'm looking to get rid of. He has kept back-to-back clean sheets. So he's hoping that he can sort of get me something again. But we'll see. I like the fact that I've got Wolves double attack. I know Strand Larsen hasn't really got a goal the last couple of weeks, but I think you never know. This week could maybe. I'm hoping Wolves. I'm playing triple Wolves, so
yeah, you're pretty covered for Wolves.
Yeah, I need a big week, because this is the last week Strand Larsen's going to be in the team. He will be going out for Jackson, I'm pretty sure. Well, I could go Isak as well, but I think I want to go with Jackson and go with the double Chelsea attack. Evening, lads. 5 reds in a row for me. Big green incoming. Hopefully, Ellie Mac. Got 2 free transfers. Should I bring in Saka and Palmer, or one of them and a defender? Vardio, Lewis, Kwanzaa, 8 Nuri, Porro. Now, I would go bold, Robert, and I'd bring in Saka and Palmer and go with a 2 double attack, because I just think you're more likely to get an attack in return from Saka and Palmer this week than those defenders, because Vardio plays Liverpool. You can't really see a clean sheet for Man City. And Lewis, again, he may not even start against Liverpool with the way he's been playing recently. Kwanzaa, I don't think will start personally. I think Joe Gomez will partner Van Dijk starting Sunday against Man City. So Kwanzaa's a risk. 8 Nuri is good. But again, I'd rather have a Saka than an 8 Nuri in my team for this week. And Porro, again, got the goal against Man City, but I'd rather have Saka and Palmer. So for this week, I'd go aggressive and then bring in the 2 midfielders and then sort the defense out later. Because I was in the same sort of boat. I bought in Cunha, Saka, and Pedro. I chose to bring in 3 attackers rather than fix my defense, because Mikalenko, I'd rather just wait another week and do a defensive move, because there's not really much upside with the defenders, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of 2 free transfers, I think bringing Saka and Palmer is the ideal thing to do. I'm not looking at defenders. I'm going to stick to what I said before. Non-premium defenders is the way to go this season at the moment. I mean, you could possibly go for an Arsenal one, but even so, I wouldn't stretch further than that in terms of those choices. I just think it's more beneficial going for midfield.
Yeah, Elika also says, I'm torn between Saka or Palmer. I've noticed Saka usually delivers when playing at home. If I had to pick, I still would go Palmer over Saka right now. But as you guys can see, I've bought Saka in now. If I had Haaland, obviously I wouldn't be able to afford Saka. But because I've got rid of Haaland, I've got so much money in the bank. I wanted another premium in there, or another expensive sort of asset. I could have went Bruno, I could have went Son, but I like Saka just because I think if Arsenal are to score or get anything, it's going to be him. Because you look at he's got 4 goals and 8 assists for the season. Now he had not had a massive sort of haul, and he had a couple, 13 points against Forest. He's quite consistent. He ticks over, and he's got some nice fixtures coming up now. We expect maybe where Arsenal can go on a run: West Ham, United, Fulham, Everton, Palace, Ipswich, Brentford. Now, if Arsenal want to win the league, which they will still have ambitions of doing, they will need to win, I'd say 7, 8 of these games, because otherwise, Liverpool have got the uh, lead on them at the moment. So I think Saka's a good pick, guys. At 10.2 million, if you've not got Haaland in your team, the fixes are there for him. So we'll see what he can do in terms of the returns. But yeah.
Yes, they have a lot of chasing to do because they are 7 or 8 points behind Liverpool, so they can't really afford to drop anymore.
Sorry, 9. It's 9 points. Sorry.
Yeah, because Chelsea above them on 1 point, which is interesting because no one was really talking about Chelsea being a candidate for that title race either.
Yeah, it is interesting, but yeah, Arsenal need to go on a run now, and they're going to rely on Saka for this period, and it's going to be interesting to see how they sort of navigate it. But yeah, I do prefer Palmer personally. Having a captain in the last match of the weekend is the best feeling, says Soul Searcher. Hopefully, if you're captaining, I'm assuming you're going to captain Salah. So, yeah, join us on Sunday after the game. We'll be there. Hopefully, Salah can do the business. Hey guys, nice to see you both. Should I start Garnacho or Rodgers? And also, who would you captain out of these options? Garnacho or Rodgers, Jordan? Who are you going for on a captain?
Garnacho or Rodgers? I'll probably go Rodgers. If I'm honest, I do prefer him for Aston Villa rather than Garnacho. He did have a good performance, Garnacho, in the Man United game yesterday against the Norwegian team, but I can't carry that factor into Premier League yet because Man United are still an unstable team with Amrim.
Did he start against Ipswich? He did, didn't he?
Yes, he did start against Ipswich. He played a fair lot of minutes last night, which gives me 50-50 whether he'll start as well. But I prefer Rodgers. In terms of captain as well, I'll most likely pick João Pedro.
Who have Man United got again?
Everton at home.
Yeah, I still would play Garnacho just because of the fixture. I think Chelsea away for Rodgers slightly puts me off. So I would play Garnacho in your case, Harry. In terms of captaincy, we'll know Jordan's on João Pedro. I'm on Salah. So we can all give our... Then why would you go with João Pedro, Jordan, out of the other options? What has made you go with João Pedro? Just for an explanation.
Well, it's for 2 reasons. I mean, João Pedro, since his return from injury, has been on fire. 1 goal, 1 assist. The first week coming back. The second week, same thing. Another goal and assist. He's had great form since coming back. Second reason being is he's against the team that has the worst record for conceding goals in the season so far against Southampton, which on top of that, Brighton have a home fixture against them. So they've got the fans. João Pedro's on fire. All makes sense why João Pedro could be a good candidate for captaincy. And I like evening fixtures as well. I feel like it's more exciting rather than afternoon ones as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going with Salah because I just think he's for me, he's been the best player in the league this season so far. 10 goals and 6 assists, I believe. 16 goal contributions in 12 matches. We know how good Liverpool have been as well. They're at Anfield. Man City have conceded back-to-back goals, 3 goals in back-to-back games now. They're conceding quite a few goals, and I just think with the form Salah is in and Liverpool are in, I back him to sort of get a goal. He's on penalties with his 90 minutes. We know he's going to be nailed. So, yeah, I just want to have a feeling that Salah's going to do well. So, yeah, I think any of these options, guys, that Harry's mentioned are all good options. So, either one is good. There is going to be a swing depending on which one you go for, but hopefully, you guys pick the right one, but it's tight this week. But if I had to sort of rank the options, I'd go Salah first. I know you haven't put Saka on the list, but I would go Saka second as best captainship option this week for me against West Ham. We know West Ham have a poor start to the season. I know they got a good win against Newcastle, but if you watch that game in the first half, Newcastle could have been 2 or 3 up. So I do think Saka I make him second best. I go Palmer third best captain option, and then I've got maybe João Pedro third. Palmer fourth is tight between João Pedro and Palmer for me, and then you've got whoever and Burma after that as well. I think. I thought I had no problems with my team. Then I hear the Konate news, most likely going to roll. But who's your favorite replacement? I'm guessing Gabriel, Timber, or Porro. Yeah, Konate is unfortunately picked up a knock last action of the game against Madrid. He hurt his knee. He was quite in a bit of pain, and the rumors that we hear is 5 to 6 weeks, I think it is. So for Konate, so it's a big blow for Liverpool. But in terms of replacements, Jordan, where are you looking?
Yeah, you do raise a great point, Roman, in terms of Timber, because of Ben White is out injured. It's not known when and how long he'll be back.
Couple of weeks, couple of months, I should say. So it's a long-term sort of injury.
So it's very ideal. I mean, if you want to save a little bit more money and go for someone cheaper like Timber, he's going to be the ideal one to go for Arsenal for the next couple of weeks or even months over Gabriel. If you prefer to go for a cheaper defender, because Gabriel does have an attacking threat from corners, but if you just prefer to have clean sheets for Arsenal, then Timber is the way to go at cheaper price.
Yeah, Timber's looking all right, I think. We know Ben White has been consistent on that right back position for Arsenal, but Timber's playing well. There's that link up there with Saka on the right. He could be a good option if you don't want to go for someone like even Saliba. You can go Gabriel and Timber, the double up instead of. So I've gone with Raya, so that sort of rules me out. But yeah, I think an Arsenal defender could be good for the next couple because they've got the nicer fixtures on paper, but we'll have to see how they perform. That's a question for you, Jordan. Would you have gone with someone like Watkins or Isak if you had the funds? I believe you do have the funds, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I could have afforded Watkins or Isak in my team. The reason why I wasn't keen, obviously, on Newcastle, because you just have that feeling where they have a good run of form, and suddenly it all drops. It goes backwards, and they don't seem as convincing in matches as we did see against West Ham, where they surprisingly lost 2-0. And yeah, when you see a game like that, obviously it does put you off bringing a player in where you expect them to obviously get something out of a game like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did prefer to go with Nicholas Jackson. He's on 4 yellow cards, so if he gets one more, he is suspended. But I'm not too bothered about that because, in a way, I do have sort of a benching headache with Garnacho there. So in the worst case, I just have to play Garnacho if he does get suspended. But I prefer the fixture that Jackson does have over, obviously, what Isak.
Yeah, looking at your team, it looks pretty strong this week. I mean, you've got the team up on the screen now. Yeah, you do have a sort of a benching headache because Garnacho has got a decent fixture. Also, I think it's a good fixture. Everton at home for Amorim. But your midfield's looking good. You've got a decent attack now as well. Wood is there, who's got Ipswich at home. So yeah, I again with Jackson as well. I'm looking at Jackson myself. I want to see how he does against Villa, but I will probably be bringing him in myself for next week.
Yeah, I think with Jackson, you could potentially hold him for the rest of the season because he's just a player that just ticks over in your forward line and gets goals here and there, not every week. But in terms of Chelsea, it's either Palmer or Jackson that's going to most likely score.
Yeah.
Maybe one chance Madueke or Neto. But
the only problem I have with Jackson, I don't know if it will be a problem, but over Christmas period, we know Chelsea are going to play again on Tuesday, or I think it is, where turnaround. They got Nkunku there. They've got a big squad. Can they rotate him out? We'll have to see. That's the only worry, but should be fine. We know he's the main man, but he may miss the odd game due to rotation.
Yeah, I think that's the ironic thing because Chelsea have such a massive squad, they could potentially just play a second team that's completely different to their team that they play in the Premier League. It's just as good.
I mean, looking at the fixtures, I'll bring it up shortly. Obviously, Chelsea play on Sunday against Villa, and then they play again on Wednesday against Southampton.
So obviously,
yeah. Have you seen the fixtures for game week 14? By the way, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's more fixtures. So Tuesday deadline, we have Ipswich, Palace as well. We'll come on to game week 14 content, but midweek games is going to be very, very interesting. I think this week, game week 14 is looking quite quite an interesting week of Liverpool going away to Newcastle, Man United and Arsenal on Wednesday night. Wednesday night. So interesting fixtures in there. Hizami says, good afternoon, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yep. Please, guys, if you can, like and subscribe to the stream. It all helps us, helps us out a lot. Huss is back with a goatee. Yeah, I need to get a haircut, to be fair. So I'll cut my hair this weekend. So I'll be looking back to my normal self. Haaland to Cunha and captain him. Any thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I'd get rid of Haaland. I wish I got rid of him a couple of weeks ago. It's not worked holding on to him and then captaining him when I've missed out on points from Cunha and Salah. Because when you have Haaland, you just auto captain him. The other thing is, we've missed out on Salah captain points. So yeah, I would get rid of Haaland now. I think he's got Anfield playing at Anfield, and he could score against Liverpool, but I just don't think over the longer period is going to be worth. Because these 6 million strikers are delivering, points, and likes of Wood, even Jackson, they're getting you a goal a game. So you got to weigh that up.
And you also consider as well that, do you see Man City win that game as well? Because if not, then Harden's not going to get those bonus points. They'll be taken off. Even if he does score, that's like 10 points plus the minutes he's played. So you have to kind of look at that as well. Do you see Man City winning against Liverpool? And do you see Harden potentially scoring more than one goal as well for it to be worth keeping him or even captaining him?
Yeah, I'd get rid. I think Haaland to Cunha, spread the funds, bring in a Saka, bring in a Salah, bring in a Palmer if you can. Play Vardy or Rodgers. Probably Rodgers. Captain Wissa or Pedro. Probably Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro.
Pedro is exciting, but Salah is Mr. Reliable, so I might stick with Salah, says Harry. Is Rodgers a doubt? I don't believe so.
No, I don't believe he is.
Vardy or Lewis to an Arsenal defender for a -4. Not keen on taking a -4, to be honest, for a City defender. I'd rather do it for free next week. So I would probably try just play Vardy now. Probably won't get a clean sheet, but never know. He could score. He has scored a couple of goals this season, so wouldn't want to take a -4 personally, Robert.
Yeah, he's had 3 goals so far this season, Guardiola, and he seems to be the only most likely one sometimes in the match to score a goal for Man City.
Yeah. Now, I'd keep Vardy, I think, and just play him and see how it goes, because Arsenal may not even keep a clean sheet themselves. You wouldn't be surprised if West Ham got one on the break or something. Last question of the game week. Start 3 out of Trent, Vardy, Gabriel, Nuri, Vandenberg. Got stuff to do, so got to go. So I'd start Gabriel. I'd start Nuri. And I still will start Trent, just because of the price. He's 7 point whatever million he is. I've got rid of Trent. I think Trent could be a sell potentially if you own him, because I don't think he's worth the money at the moment, because there's other defenders cheaper, there's other midfielders that I'd rather have, like Saka and Palmer. But if you've got Trent, you rather play him at the differential, because he might get you something. So that's where I'm coming, that angle. No one's really got Trent, so I still would play him. I think Trent's more likely to keep a clean sheet than Vardy. I still think, with Liverpool being at home. Vandenberg, we know he's got a nice fixture, but I'm still not sure on Brentford in terms of clean sheets. They've not kept one all season. So I think play Trent or sell him and move the money elsewhere. But if you've got Trent, he's the differential at this moment of the season.
Yeah, just to touch on that, obviously, they've kept only one clean sheet, and that was against Everton at 0-0, where they were down to 10 men, surprisingly, which was the most unlikely time I would expect a clean sheet from Brentford, especially with them 10 men down. But given to fault, obviously, Leicester manager Cooper was sacked, so Leicester will be playing without a manager for that match. Maybe that does affect them, maybe not. But I think I still would take a chance on Vandenberg. It's his last game, I think, where the fixtures do swing. So maybe you want to make the most out of it before you potentially bench or get rid of him.
Roman also says, hypothetical, if Jackson gets a yellow. For Villa, he misses the Southampton game due to 5 yellows. Yeah, one to watch, actually.
Worst case scenario, he misses Southampton, which you think, that's a decent fixture for him to miss.
No, but you want him playing against Southampton. It's probably one of the best fixtures that they'll have. So it'll be a big blow if you bought him in and he gets booked.
Yeah, and misses that game.
Just realised City players were genuinely stealing my funds. Raya, Eight Nuri, Gabriel, Dello, Mbomo, Saka, Salah, Palmer, Wood, Pedro, Jackson. Team looks good. Evening Boy says, Tendai, I've had Vardy, Foden, and Haaland for a combined price of 30.2 million. About to take them out for Palmer, Saka, Dallo, Pedro, and maybe Jackson for a -4. Worth it? Yes, I think they are worth it, especially Palmer, Saka. I'm not sure on Dallo. Personally, I wouldn't be bringing in Dallo. I'd rather bring in Mazraoui. If you want to go for Man United, that's it. I don't think Dallo is nailed. It seems like Mazraoui is more sort of preferred. So Mazraoui over Dallo easily. Jackson's, I think, is a good pick. I don't think I'd go with Pedro Porro. I'd rather go for an Arsenal defender. I know Arsenal haven't kept as many clean sheets, but they've got the nice run now. Timber, Gabriel, I will still prefer over a Pedro, personally.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on Pedro Porro, even though he looked pretty good in obviously the Man City game, but that was a Man City that wasn't up to their best. And Pedro Porro does show attacking threat, but that's the first time I've seen it in a very long time. So I don't think I'll jump on him straight away after seeing that. Obviously, that goal and clean sheet for him.
Yep. The game week 13 seems to be the hardest dilemma for picking captaincy ever, says Thunder. Yeah, I mean, there's good options there.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of my team, I've been circulating from Wood to João Pedro to Salah and then to Obama. It's gone in that vicious cycle of captain season. It's currently still on João Pedro for the moment.
Yeah, I've not actually. For me, it's not been that hard. Surprisingly, maybe to some. I've just been on Salah since start of the week, and I've not moved it. So we'll see how Salah does. I know he's got the toughest fixture on paper out of all the other options, but yeah, I'm sort of pretty sold on Salah at the moment, just because of the form.
If you had to predict like how many points Salah gets out of that fixture, how many points do you think he will get?
It's hard. We saw it last week with Salah. You look at Salah's points. I mean, the reason why I find it hard to sort of look past Salah, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 8 double-digit returns in 12 games this season. So 14 points against Ipswich, 10 points against Brentford, 17 points against Man United, 10 points against Wolves, 12 against Chelsea, 10 against Arsenal, 14 against Villa, and 13 against Southampton. Against Southampton, he didn't have the best of games, really. From nowhere, bang, he scores 2, gets a pen, scores the pen, and then he also gets the other goal. Could have had a hat-trick as well in that game, actually, Salah. So, yeah, for me, we're looking at Salah's form, Liverpool's form. That's just essentially why. And you see the reliability, the comment that we had earlier. He's consistently delivered in every game so far this season, even in the blanks that he's had. I think I'm trying to see when his last blank was. It's against Palace. Yeah, he's only blanked twice all season. I was against Forest when they lost, and against Palace. So 2 blanks so far. And yeah, Man City is a tough game, but he's returned double-digit hauls against Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United so far, which are 3 of the big 6 sort of traditional teams. And yeah, I'm not looking. For me, he's again on track to get 200 points again for this season. I think he's on 120 points already so far this season. So yeah, he's going to get 200 points. I think it's fair to say. And yeah, I don't see any other option than Salah for me this week. But I've mentioned Saka. I think he's still a good option. Palmer, Pedro. There are options there, guys, but you just got to weigh it up. Really, it's close. Bought in Pedro for Raul. Could you talk me out of a Gvardiol for Timber -4? Yeah, I just think Gvardiol could score. Against Liverpool, you never know because he has scored 3 goals already so far this season, and I don't expect Arsenal to keep a clean sheet. So, is it worth a -4 to bring in Timber, who just to make it worth the -4 has to keep a clean sheet against West Ham? That's where I sort of view it, and you can't guarantee clean sheets this season, so I don't think it's worth bringing in a -4, just taking a hit really for a defender.
Yeah, plus it's not a rush for you to bring in an Arsenal defender. I mean, you would probably be eager to take out Man City assets in your team, but I think for the sake of the -4, you could just wait one more week and see what Guardiola does against Liverpool.
Speedy says triple Wolves. Yep, triple Wolves at the moment. Strand Larson will probably be going next week, but he's in for now. My thought process for Dallo was he plays much higher up than Mazraoui. I meant João Pedro as well. My bad. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, in terms of both of them, I don't like Dalot on the ball. I just prefer Mazraoui. He just seems better on the ball and looks more likely to either pass the ball to someone up front and potentially get an assist rather than Dalot, who seems to just pass it and then that's it.
I will still go with Mazraoui, I think. Just from what I've seen Man United play with so far in the short amount of time. But yeah, it's up to you, Elika. Mazraoui again had a decent game. I heard. I didn't watch the game in the Europa League, but I heard he was one of the better players. I've got Vardio, Vandenberg, and Nuri for my last question. What's your question?
Was that?
Oh yeah, no, keep that. Keep the back three. So I would just keep Vardio for one more week and then maybe look selling him after Anfield. But I don't think it's worth a -4 for him. Any of you see the United game yesterday? If you did, got asked thoughts on Bruno and where he's playing, whether it's a worry or not. If he plays there, could be a sell. Yeah, go on.
I did see the highlights of this game. I didn't watch it because I weren't expecting much. But yeah, the worry is with Bruno now. He's playing much deeper because he was playing behind Hoyland, Garnacho, and Mount, who were pushing forward. And then obviously you have Bruno, who's feeding the ball to them. But he's not showing that attacking threat that we did see beforehand with Ten Hag, where he was playing in obviously one of those three positions up front. It seems to be now falling back, playing deeper, and then feeding the ball to one of the front three, obviously the wing backs or the forwards. So yeah, it is a worry, I think, because I've seen it against Ipswich and then sorting the highlights against the team yesterday as well.
Yeah. I mean, before game week 12, I was looking at Bruno and Saka as options to bring in. I thought maybe I could look to bring in Bruno at the differential, but yeah, Saka for me is definitely a better option than Bruno at the moment. So yeah, I would avoid Bruno. If you had the option, I'd rather have a Son, I'd rather have Saka, Palmer, Salah, and there's other options there. So yeah, he could be a sell. We'll have to see. But if you've got Bruno, you definitely play him against Everton and see how it goes.
Yeah, because that was always a row for Amrin because he plays the 3-4-3, and it's very hard for Bruno to fit in that, obviously, that system. But yeah, it is I guess a worry, and it would be interesting what happens to him long term.
Bowen, Rodgers, or Brentford defender. Play Bowen, I think, still, even though he's got the tougher fixture against Arsenal. I will still play Bowen because I've learned, if you've got an attacking player, that's still, they won their last game, so I will still go with Bowen personally, even though it's a tough game against Arsenal. Cheers, lads, says Tendai. Mitoma over Mbeumo for the long term, says Pedro Silva. I mean, Mbeumo does have the tough fixtures coming up. Nice fixture this week. What have you made of? I mean, Mbeumo had a brilliant start to the season, but no goals now in his last 3, just the 1 assist. Fixtures are now going to be turning after game week 13. So what? I mean, Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest, Brighton, Arsenal, Southampton, Man City, Liverpool. What are you doing with Mbeumo, Jordan, as an owner? I think you own him, don't you?
Yeah, this is my last fixture where I obviously have Mbeumo in the team because after that, we've seen the fixtures do swing, so he will be my transfer out potentially in game week 14.
Who are you thinking to bring in if you were to sell Mbeumo in game week 14?
It depends who I'm persuaded with this game week, but I'm looking towards maybe Saka. No, that's a 50-50. Depends how I view Saka in that West Ham game after seeing him in obviously game week 12 match. Apart from that, again, Mitoma, I've sort of kept a watch on him. I mentioned him yesterday in the podcast stream as well, that he could be a good long-term pick and a good one-week punt, if not for the Southampton game. So I feel like his underlying numbers are really low, XG and whatnot, but he's had a few chances to score where it hasn't been up to scratch. But yeah,
how many goals has he got this season, Mitoma? I feel like he's not scored that many, has he? He's scored a couple.
I feel like it's 2. I have to double check.
Yeah, I'll let you have a look.
Yeah, it's 2 goals and 3 assists from McTominay
Yeah.
so far.
I have to play 2 up front. Who do I play between Welbeck, João Pedro, Wood? Play 3 defenders, Michael. Play a 3-4-3 and play all 3 strikers. You don't want to be in a position where you're benching one of those, in my opinion. Let us know your full team, but surely you've got a worse player this week. What's your midfield 4? Time to sell Haaland and bring Salah in. Yep, I think that's pretty obvious one for us now. So should I bring Cunha or Pedro long term? I think both.
Both.
They're cheap enough to have both. If you're getting rid of Haaland, then you could definitely afford both. So I would bring in both, and I think they're good options to have now. This comes into my next question. I wildcarded last week, so I got to bench one of these 8. Salah, Saka, Palmer, Bruno, and Burmo, Pedro, Isak, and Cunha. I have to bench one. It's either Isak and Bruno for me. Bruno has Everton. Isak has. I'm trying to think. Who does Isak play again?
Isak plays Crystal Palace.
Palace, and Isak is away. That's a tough one. Bruno has
Everton. But again, Bruno, yeah. I think it makes it a little bit easier judging from where Bruno is playing in the team. So I think I'll bench Bruno, even though that's a lot of money to put on the bench.
Yeah, I will probably go with Bruno, but I will not want to bench Bruno because he's a differential as well. So yeah, it's a tough spot, but it probably is Bruno. But you can easily bench Mbermo, or I know Mbermo's got a good fixture, but it probably would have to be Bruno. I've gone with Watkins over Jackson. Can't afford Jackson's misses, and Watkins is definitely the better finisher. Elika, fair comment. But I'm looking at Jackson myself. I just like Chelsea's fixtures as well. -4 paid off last week. Should I go for Haaland and Semenyo to Saka and Cunha for a -4? Yes, I think it's worth it. I've done something similar. I've taken out Haaland and Semenyo for Saka and Cunha actually. And I've also bought in obviously Pedro as well. So yeah, I think they're worth a -4, especially if you're going to captain. If you're going to captain one of them as well, maybe you're looking to captain Saka, then definitely worth it in my opinion. Can't bring in both. If you had to go for one this week, I probably would go João Pedro.
Yeah, because he does have the better fixture over Cunha, who has Bournemouth. But they're both good fixtures. But I mean, we've seen how many goals Southampton have conceded, so there will be goals coming from Brighton.
Yeah, I mean Southampton looked quite good against Liverpool, to be fair to them, until near the end. They put 2 past Liverpool. So one was a pen, which wasn't really a pen in my opinion, but they put a decent fight up. Also, guys, 10 minutes left now to the deadline, so get those transfers locked. Get your bench order done. Whatever you need to do, I'll just do my bench order. Also, just quickly, guys, would you play Greaves over Mykolenko? Mykolenko's got Forest away, and Mykolenko has Man United away. What are you doing, Jordan? In my case,
I mean, to be honest, I think both concede. So really, I don't think it really matters.
If you had to who's more likely to keep a clean sheet, Everton or Ipswich?
Surprisingly, it would probably be Ipswich. But with Chris Wood back after his rest from last game week, it's a bit tough to call that. But you do expect Man United to score, especially at Old Trafford. So I guess Greaves is more likely to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, I'm going to play Mykolenko, I think. Back-to-back clean sheets. I know Everton haven't been great, but Everton are one of those teams where they're more likely to get 0-0 sometimes. So I'm just going to play Mykolenko, and I'll probably sell Mykolenko after this week anyway, because I think Everton's fixtures now do turn quite tough fixtures coming up. Man United, Wolves, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and City. So you don't really want to hold on to your Everton defense assets for much longer. But I'm in sort of a position where I sort of have to play him because I've already taken a -4. In terms of defense, Konate was an option that I was looking at, but with the injury now, he changes it slightly. So I'll have to see what I want to do for the defenders, but I'm not too fast as there's not really any options at the moment and that I like the look of. Welbeck to Pedro or save the transfer? I'd save the transfer because Welbeck can easily go and outscore João Pedro, in my opinion, because they play in the same team, and there's been a lot of games where Welbeck has outscored him. So definitely wouldn't do that move. It's not worth it. It's quite sideways for me.
And with it being Southampton fixture, it's one of those ones where any player could potentially score in it as well, not just the main man, João Pedro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely want to keep Welbeck in your case. Now, looking at, fixtures this week, quite a few fixtures spread out, I should say. So you've got Friday night, obviously, Brighton kicked the game week off to Southampton. So be interesting to see how that goes. So you'll find out obviously on how you do your captain does essentially today if you're going Pedro.
Yeah,
Friday night captain.
I think that's what's going to be exciting because I can just enjoy this fixture obviously with my captaincy involved and see how it goes.
Yeah, we've got 4 games on Saturday as well, and then we've got another 4 games on Sunday. So quite a big Sunday. Liverpool and Man City being the big game of the weekend, so we're straight live after that game. So make sure you guys tune in for the knee-jerk stream, 7 p.m. Sunday. And then again, game week 14, Jordan, quick turnaround, Tuesday deadline. Game week 14.
I did not realise this quick turnaround.
Quite a few fixtures on Wednesday. Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal all playing, or Man City all playing on Wednesday night. So that's interesting. And then another quick turnaround, game week 15, Saturday deadline. So obviously it's a busy period now. And in game week, obviously 16, there's a bit of a gap. And then 17 and 18, there's Boxing Day fixtures, which is again a decent gap. And then straight into New Year's, game week 19, again 3-day turnaround. So fixtures are coming thick and fast, guys. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We've got a lot of content to come over the festive period. Last question. Now we've got confirmation that Son is on penalties. Does he enter any of your future plans? Yes. For me, I think Son is a good option. Looking at Spurs' fixtures very quickly. Spurs have Fulham next, decent game. Bournemouth, Chelsea, Southampton, Liverpool, Newcastle, Wolves to complete the year. So I think Son is definitely an option, especially if you've not got someone like Haaland in your team. You've got the funds. If you don't want to go for Saka, I still think Saka's got the better fixtures, but Son is had the possibility of getting you goals as well. So I think Son is an option for sure.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know what to think of Son for one. He's at 9.9 million player who's only had 3 goals and 4 assists this season. Not really had the minutes yet. Played 6-2 against Man City. Did get an assist though, but Spurs did score 4 goals in that game. You would expect Son to be one of the goal scorers in a game like that. But for me, I just prefer like a Kulusevski, Maddison, or Brennan Johnson, someone cheaper, rather than going for Son, even though he's on penalties. But yeah, we'll see in the coming weeks. That might change my opinion.
Yeah, obviously the other Spurs assets are options, Brennan Johnson, etc. Kulusevski is doing really well. I've gone with Chris Wood captaincy. Why not? Good luck to everyone. Yeah, good luck to everyone. Chris Wood's an interesting shout.
Yeah.
Rested against Arsenal, surprisingly, but he's now should be fine to start.
Yeah, I think obviously someone did mention that yesterday. Due to the long trip from New Zealand when he played in the international football, it kind of makes sense for obviously him to take a break, put on the back foot. And it was a tough game against Arsenal, which I suppose not the Forest weren't expecting to win that game without Chris Wood, but I suppose it's obviously you don't want to lose Chris Wood either for injury if you ever play him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Say obviously with the international break, possibly why he was benched. Ali Max says Wissa captain for him. That's interesting for sure as well. It's going to be interesting as well to see like in terms of the effective ownership for captaincy this week. Who people are going for. The managers will go different this week for sure. -8 tempting to bring Salah, Cunha, Pedro, and save transfer next week. I think the -4, -8 is worth it for Salah if you're going to captain Salah this week. Definitely worth a hit. And with his Salah, you're missing out a lot of points if you've not got Salah for the last few weeks. So tough game for him, but I'd want to have Salah in my team if you don't have him. I'm going Mbeumo captain. Personally, feel Rude will want to attack the Brentford, not sit back making it better for Mbeumo, especially on his first game in charge. Yeah, I mean, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Is that confirmed now, I think, isn't it? As manager of Leicester, which is interesting.
Yeah, very quick managing role set in there. Not realised that was going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how he gets on. He had a couple of good games against Man United as a sort of interim manager. But yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on it. Abdullah says start Greaves or Vardiol. Still probably start Vardiol against Liverpool, but I don't expect a clean sheet for him either.
Yeah, I don't expect really an attack return from maybe Man City playing it around the box, giving it to Guardiola for, I don't know, a shot outside box, hoping that it goes in as a goal, because he's done that 3 times. And to be fair, all 3 times have been really magnificent in terms of the shot, which makes you wonder why sometimes Guardiola is a defender, not a sort of like an attacking midfielder. But yeah, I think I'll start Guardiola over Greaves.
Okay.
Mark says, my squad, if I make 4 transfers, Blecken, Fabianski, Gabriel, Guardiola, Aït-Nouri, Van Heck, Greaves, Salah, Palmer, Saka, and Mbeumo, Rogers, Solanke, Cunha, João Pedro, would you make any changes? I mean, in terms of that team, the only change I would make is probably take Solanke out for Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, that's the only change I'll probably make, and that's that system of your team. I quite like the rest. I think also Guardiola can come out as well. You can downgrade him to another defender, cheaper one, save money, because Man City assets aren't working at all in our teams. So potentially 2 free transfers there you could make, and you could save the other 2 for the following game week after that. Mr. Blanky, which 2 to start? DCL, Smith Rowe, or Rogers?
Probably Smith Rowe and Rogers. DCL just not keen on him.
Yeah, I believe that's the 3rd match now where Everton haven't managed to score a goal. So they've been goalless for 3 game weeks now. So yeah, I probably would start Smith Rowe and Rogers as well, because they're more likely to get a goal in their fixtures over Everton, who do have Man United.
A lot of people have gone with, just looking at Twitter, obviously, that's the deadline over. A lot of people have gone with Palmer, it seems. Popular option this week. Yeah, a lot of people have gone with Palmer, so it's going to be interesting to see how Palmer gets on against Villa.
Yeah, it was suggested that would be a high-scoring game. 3 goals expected in that game, potentially for either side. You can definitely see that being a very open and back to front kind of game between the 2.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. This game week could be swingy week. But yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully it's a good week in terms of FPL. And then yeah, we'll be back again on Sunday, guys, to react to it. So make sure you guys do tune in. We're going to wrap the stream up here. But if you've enjoyed the content, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back again on Sunday. All right.
Yes, thank you guys. Obviously, take care. Good luck to the Does this week. Hopefully, you get green arrows, and we'll see you Sunday for the New Year to see how well you've done, and obviously our team.